So I don't really do these kind of videos here, but fun fact about me, I'm a huge reader. I love reading. I've always have my entire life. And recently, a YouTuber and actor who I really enjoy watching released a video called The Reading Habits Tag. Originally from Ariel Bissett, a booktuber. That's a genre here. On YouTube, I've learned is a thing. A booktuber from Canada created this reading habit tag where you just talk about your reading habits. It was really fun. I enjoyed the video. I've ended up falling down a bit of a rabbit hole in the booktuber world. I don't think I'll ever become a booktuber, but I really like these videos. I really like this reading habit tag, and I want to do it. So please enjoy. Ever since I was a little kid, I have adored reading. I have been very fortunate that I've been able to afford or be in positions where I could receive books. Actually, for a couple of years, I had an aunt who worked as a paralegal for Indigo chapters, so she got discounts and deals and she got me free books like all the time, which was really awesome as a kid growing up. I remember the Harry Potter series I read by myself and I was like under the age of 10. I just ate through like the entire book series that was out at that point, which I think was up to the 6th. And I would just, like, I remember Goblet of Fire, I think I finished it in like 2 or 3 days as a kid. I have always been a ravenous reader. And to this day, I still really enjoy reading. I don't get as much time as I would like to read, but when I do, I enjoy poetry, graphic novels, fiction, biographies, nonfiction. I read kind of everything. Actually, back at university, before I switched from a 4-year Bachelor of Honors to a 3-year, just a Bachelor of Arts, I had planned to minor in English literature and English studies, so I've taken a bunch of different literature courses. I like books. They're pretty cool. So here is the tag. I will put all of the questions that I'm answering in the description below. If you would like to do the reading habit tag, they are there. I've also linked Carrie Hope Fletcher's video and Ariel Bissett's video, who I found this tag through, so that you can check out their videos as well. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? Yes. No, I live in a pretty small apartment with 2 other guys, cool dudes. We have like a living room space, but oftentimes we keep to ourselves in our own room because they are our own dedicated spaces. Honestly, over the last couple of years, one of the places that I've read the most has been commuting, has been traveling, has been on transit, and unfortunately that's not a super accessible or regular place that I'm at anymore for obvious reasons. So before now, it was really on the go, on streetcars, on subways that I would read a lot. These days, if I'm reading, it's indoors and in my bed, at the kitchen table, or even I'll go find a park when the weather's nice and I'll just sit at a picnic bench, or I'll sit under a tree and I'll just read there for a couple hours. That's usually my go-to. I like to be out of my house when I read. I don't know what it is. It's just, I don't know. It's just me. Bookmark or random piece of paper. I actually don't use any sort of bookmarking. I don't know if this is good, if this is bad, if this is normal or not. The couple videos I've seen, it seems like people are on the same page as me. But if I'm reading and I need to like put the book down or I need to mark a page, I just try to remember the page number. Like, I'm currently reading Reinventing Comics by Scott McCloud, and I'm on page 30... what? Oh no, I read this page. I'm on page 29. So I really just do that. I just remember what page number I'm on, what was on the page, and then I close the book and I say, okay, I'll come back to you later. I don't bookmark. I don't put a piece of paper. I don't even dog ear. I'm really not for dog earing. The only books that I own that are dog eared are the Harry Potter books. I have my mom's copies that she got before I was born and when I was really young, so she dog ears her books. So those are the only books that I own that are dog eared. Nothing else. No other book I own is dog eared as far as I can tell. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? I prefer when I'm reading to stop at like a chapter break if I can. I like to read to the end of a chapter and then put it down. Like at breakfast when I'm reading, even after I finish my meal, I'll continue to read until I get to the end of a chapter. But if I'm on like a subway, or if I'm busy, or if I have like a deadline, like okay, by 3 p.m. I need to be doing something else instead, I will just read up to the end of a sentence or a page break, and then I'll just put it down and I'll come back to it whenever. And I'm cool with that. If I can, I prefer to finish to the end of a chapter, but I'm cool with just like, I need to put the book down now. Let me walk away from it. Do you eat or drink while reading? Yeah, I feel super comfortable with it. I know some people, they're like, I need the book in both of my hands at the same time. But for me, I'm cool. Like, I'll read while I have breakfast. I'll have the book, like, pinned open with one hand while I shovel food in my mouth. Or I'll read while I'm sipping on tea or a coffee at a coffee shop. Yeah, just one-handed, and I'll like put whatever I'm eating down for a second to flip the page, and then I'll hold with one hand again, you know? Multitasking, music or TV while reading? No to TV. Some music I will listen to though. I don't do music with words. If I hear music with words, my brain, it's like my ears are reading and my eyes are reading two different things at the same time, and I'm like, ah. But if it's instrumental music, I like to put on lo-fi beats or video game soundtracks, or even just like classical music. I'll sometimes go on Spotify and say reading playlist, and they'll just play instrumental music for me. I kind of like white noise when I read. It's why I really enjoy reading on public transit or in a park, and just hearing like the wind or the sound of the city around me. I can enjoy that. But if there are particular conversations being had, I can't. If there are, maybe I'm just too nosy, I don't know. But if there's two particular conversations being had in like a television show or a YouTube video or a Twitch stream or even just people around me, I'm like, I can't focus on this. So no to watching or TV, but yes to instrumental music. One book at a time or several at once? Kind of several at once. Like, I have a stack of like 3 or 4 books on my bedside table that I'm currently reading right now. What I'm currently reading is Reinventing Comics by Scott McCloud. I was reading the poetry of Emily Dickinson, but then I got distracted by another book, so I put it down. I think I'm like 20 pages in or something, so like I'm technically reading this one right now. Same with If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland and White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. I picked them up, I got a few chapters in, and then I got distracted by something else in life, so I put the book down and then I just forgot to get back to it. So I'm technically, I'm reading 4 books right now, but really, I'm just reading the one, and when I finish this one, I'll pick up one of these 3 next. Reading at home or everywhere? I think I answered this earlier, but I prefer everywhere. I'm not a big at-home reader. When I'm at home, I like to watch movies or play games or watch YouTube videos. Reading for me is like the thing I do when I'm on the go. So like in a pre-COVID world, it would be everywhere. Right now, it's kind of an at-home thing, but yeah, preferred everywhere, currently at home. Though I go to parks if I can. Reading out loud or silently in your head? In my head. I don't really read out loud. I mean, I have no one to read out loud to, but even, I know some people, they enjoy reading out loud to themselves, even if it's just a whisper. I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of person. Nothing wrong if you are. I prefer reading silently in my head. I've always been a pretty quick reader, and I find that I read faster in my head than I do when I speak out loud. Bryce from the future here doing some late night editing. When filming this video originally, in my nervous state making a new video, not knowing if people will like it, I actually skipped over question number 9 just to quickly jump in and make sure I get all 11 questions from the reading habit tag. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. The worst example of this is the final book in the Aragon series, Inheritance. When it came out, I think I was like 13 or 14. I read the first few chapters, and Christopher Paolini has built a beautiful world in the Aragon series. However, he is very descriptive, so much so that you kind of get lost and you forget what the story is. I didn't have the patience to read Inheritance at the time. I had other books that I was reading. So after I read the first like 20 chapters, I just flipped to the last 2 chapters to find out how it ends. Was low-key a little disappointed. So I put the book down and I was like, I'll get back to it eventually. And it's been almost 10 years and I still haven't picked the book back up. Other examples, I was reading the Saga graphic novel series recently, and in this particular graphic novel, there are multiple character story arcs running alongside each other. So when a particular character's story arc would get suspenseful, but they jump to a different ones, I would just skip the second character story arc, go to where the first character story arc continues so I know what happens to them, then I would flip back and continue reading the second character story arc. It's weird. I do a similar thing when I watch Netflix. I'm watching movies or television shows. If something's getting really suspenseful and I'm getting kind of anxious, or I don't really want to wait to find out what happens, I'll just quickly go down to like the preview at the bottom of the Netflix bar and I'll scroll over to see what's going to happen next. And then I'll go back to where I paused it and just keep watching, knowing that all of my anxieties and worries will not come to fruition because I know what's going to happen. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? I prefer to keep it like new, but I'm not going to go breaking my back to not break the spine. I don't know, I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. For the most part, most of my books, their spines are still intact. I actually have a lot of hardcover copies of books, and those are always difficult. You can't really break a hardcover. Well, you can, but that takes some effort. The only like paperback I see with a broken spine, like some books I've gotten from used bookstores, if I bought one and its spine was already broken, or I have a copy of Aragon by Christopher Paolini, and my copy of Aragon, the spine is broken on that one. Oh, no, you know what? You know what? The first 3 books in the Percy Jackson series I own in paperback, and their spines are broken. I read those ravenously as a kid. One of my favorite series when I was a kid. Do you write in your books? Not really. I'll write inside, like, my plays. So take, for example, Scorched by Wajdi Mouawad. I write on the cover, like just on the inside page there, I've written my name, Bryce Fletch. Sometimes I'll lend plays out to other people. In the theater community, everyone's reading everything, especially in the theater school community. You have classmates or friends who want to read a copy of a play that you have. Again, this is in like a pre-COVID world when you're around people physically more often. And it's one of those things where it's just to be safe in case I lend it to someone and they forget to give it back to me. You open it up and it says my name inside and it's like, oh right, I should return this to Bryce. This is his book. I still have it. But other than that, the only time I've ever written a book to highlight, to annotate, anything like that is if it was required for school. I don't really write in my books myself. I don't really take notes. The only time I can think of taking notes or wanting to write in them is if they're a poetry book or a play. I know there's a copy of Arcadia by Tom Stoppard. I wrote all in it because I want to direct that play one day, so I wrote like director notes and ideas. Not really anything other than that. And that is the 11 questions for the reading habits tag. This was fun. I hope you're enjoying National Poetry Month. I'm releasing escape roll videos every day this month. I pre-filmed this one to release, so hopefully at the time of this release, I've maintained my daily routine. At the time of filming, I've maintained my daily routine, so I pat myself on the back. Escape roll has been really, really fun. I don't know if I'll make any more book videos like this in the future. Maybe I will. Let me know if you like this kind of thing, but thank you for watching. I would love to know any of your reading habits. If any of these, you're like, oh, I have a different response to that than Bryce that he might find interesting, please comment it below. I'd love to hear it. Okay. See y'all later. Have a good one. There's like a speck on my lens here. What? Oh, now I'm just smudging the lens. Okay.